Boys and girls, weather report for July 20th, 2022.
It's a kitty.
And we got a kitty. A kitty went to his...
That's how to get views.
Yep.
Promise everybody kitties.
My niece runs the animal shelter.
And surefire way.
She runs the animal shelter up in Virginia, Minnesota, and that's where they rescued it. Well, somebody dropped all these kitties off in a box. And I saw another kitty I want. I might get, oh God, I want 2 kitties. Anyway, so they transferred him to her home where they are keeping him for me. And he's very vocal and he's very friendly. He plays with dogs. He plays with everything. So he's pretty cool. He's very gregarious. I love my kitty already.
So how much did Loki and Thor go through the, clawing you to making biscuits kind of phase?
Oh, they still do that.
They still do that? Where are you going to have a third one do that?
Does. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I always keep a blanket on me because, it's worry claws that's a problem. Anyway.
Now, that's what I noticed real quick, that you also had a stream listed, at least it came up in my feed, about protocells, something or another in updates. Have you already done that, or is that scheduled to be done?
That was a paper that I read. It's up there.
I need to watch that because I know we have one particular creationist person who comes into our side chat who scoffs at the idea of protocells, and I also have a textbook on protocells that I thought, well, if it's such an unknown and weak topic, then why are they making textbooks about it?
You have a textbook on protocells?
Yeah. I ordered it. I guess it must have been from Amazon. It's a used textbook, but it may be out of date by now. But
I think if it's actually entitled Protocells, I think that's from the mid 2000s. I could be wrong, but that might be from 2008. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's definitely entitled Protocells.
Yep.
So I need to get off my butt and read that. Maybe by listening to that paper, I can get started on the topic.
Is that the origin and heredity in protocells? The origin of heredity in protocells?
That's Weston Lane. This is a different one. It was published just this year. Talks about different kinds of amphiphilic vesicles and lipids and coacervates and all these other kinds of models for primitive protocells of the origin of life, and how many of them have been synthesized and how they act, like how they grow and divide and even subcompartmentalize and all sorts of different stuff.
But there's been no progress, right?
There's been a shit ton of progress. Just read that paper.
70 years.
Well, gosh, our friends on the creationist side keep saying there's been no progress. It's all faith. It's all a story.
Yep. Yeah, I like every now and then I like to read yellow journalism too.
So especially I don't know.
You're standing at the checkout stand at the.
Yellow journalism now.
Can you read that, Scott?
No, you'd have to zoom in on it. I can read it from my phone. Yeah, I had a fun encounter with one of our buddies, and at first, when they were talking about topoisomerase or whatever, and at the end of that little thing, it was a fascinating animation and interesting topic, but they went, "Oh, look, how does it know to do that? It knows to do that. How could that be explained by evolution?" And I basically said, well, that's just the fallacy of the argument from incredulity. And so later on, he talked about how he at that conference he's going to, Sal wants to argue or talk about it just using topoisomerase. And so I said, Sal wants to argue from incredulity using one single example, because that's what it boils down to. And then Otangelo, it's on the next image.
Okay, but first of all, Otangelo said topoisomerase is an abiogenesis problem.
Yeah, I don't know exactly who he was responding to, but I don't think he was talking to me.
Yeah, not very.
How is a derived protein an abiogenesis problem?
Yeah,
I do not know.
One that popped up, after DNA popped up. Basically.
Well, for one thing, because Otangelo and people like him refuse to actually read the topics, the papers from people who are, theorizing and making hypotheses on the topic of abiogenesis. So he just says shit like that.
So, I mean, like, he does read the first paragraph.
Yeah, of an abstract.
Right, where they identify the problem. And like the second they identify the problem, that's when he stops reading.
And goes, evolution is fake.
No.
Fake news.
Peter W.
So then he goes on to say,
fake news.
Oh, okay.
I am incredule, which if in Otangelo East, that is incredulous, that molecules have the superpowers to become computers, neurons, translation machines, information-bearing molecules, engine turbines, all on their own. So he basically is, once again, torturing an analogy.
Yeah.
And then I go on to say...
Well, just a minute now. Let me get it up here.
Okay, all right, no problem.
It's fucking hold. Okay, you said it's fine.
It's fine to be incredulous. The fallacy is say...
It's fine to be incredule.
Oh, it's fine to be incredule. The fallacy is to then say, therefore God, or therefore intelligence. And by the way, Dr. Joel Duff was in the side chat.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was always very interesting.
Did he respond to you when you said you watch his stuff?
No, I think to him I'm a non-person and I don't care.
Yeah, he's been ghosting me too. I've emailed him like 3 times already. So anyway. Okay. And then Otangelo says, you don't even know at what point it would not be a fallacy anyway. Is he talking
you don't even know at what point it would not be a fallacy anymore. I don't know how it sounded in actual Brazilian.
Not being fallacious.
Okay.
There's not an arbitrary color flag. Oh, it's not a fallacy anymore.
And I don't know if I got a screenshot of my response to that.
Let's see. So, okay.
Is there another image after that?
We're on the last screenshot now.
Okay. And then after that, let's see. I said, yes, I do. Of course I know at what point it would stop being an argument from incredulity is when your therefore follows from what came before. In other words, if
other than incredulity.
Yeah, if it's something other than, I don't see how God could do all that, or how intelligent, how evolution could do all that. And therefore, so you have to replace that first part. And that's how it becomes not an argument from incredulity when you don't say therefore to it.
Right.
You have a different argument, essentially.
Okay, there's a
thing. Otangelo is what I was essentially saying.
There's a thing called inference. If A, then B, and you draw that with an A, uppercase A maybe, and then an arrow, and then a B, and that arrow is where all of the argument is. That's where the inference is, and you have to be able to infer from A to B.
The more specific form is. The more specific form is if A and only A, then B, and then you can go from there, because otherwise you're getting into a what's it called? What's the fallacy I'm thinking?
If and only if is an equivalence. Okay, if and only let's see, if A and only if A, then B. Is that how you would say that? I'm not sure.
Or if A and only A.
Yeah, but
you get the point though.
Okay, but that's equivalence. Basically, that's equivalence. That means they're logically equivalent. A and B are logically equivalent, but A then B is a perfectly valid inference, right? If A then B, and that inference only goes one way from the antecedent, which is A, to the consequent, which is B. But
Right.
that
But I
inference
guess
is
it
where you
gets
make
kind of
your
tricky
argument.
if you're talking about some. I just
Yeah,
think it gets
no. If you
tricky
do,
when you're not talking about causation or something like that,
like,
because you can't
if
be
you
sure
do
that
if
just
and only
because they're
if.
associated, they're caused.
Okay, if you do if and only if A, if and only if B, okay, you can convert that to B if and only if A. They automatically rotate, whereas if A then B does not automatically convert to if B then A. That's the difference between if and only if. But if and only if is how you basically solve truth tables because it's logical equivalence, which is kind of cool. But no, you don't need an if and only if. You just need an if. If you have an
Oh.
if and only if, then you
I'm
got
not an
logical
expert
equivalence.
on it anyway, so.
Okay. Anyway, that would be a really strong case, that something is equivalent, logically equivalent, that sort of thing. And you can prove that
Okay.
with pure mathematics. Whereas if A then B, you have to prove with some sort of an argument. And anyway, John Maddox says, "Oh, there's computed DNA is a code. If DNA is a code, then God did it." And he forgets about the inference. He forgets about the arrow. He never flushes in his argument. He just states it, right? Just whole cloth. If this, oh, then that. And that's kind of what they all do, right? If it's complicated, then God.
Yeah. If I can't
If we
explain
don't
how it
know,
happened,
if we don't know
therefore
how it happened, then God. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, so yeah. First thing, yeah, everybody ought to do when they get into college is take Logic 101, and because that is really helpful. But anyway, we're looking at kitties again. Okay, so
you can't go wrong with the kitties.
The topic of the show: roasting Rebekah. Rebekah just really, really, really got off on a wrong foot with me, and over a little conversation on her channel yesterday. And it was, let's see, where was it at here? Okay. Oh no. What have I done? One
little technical point is with an image that size, Sal is way too close to his camera.
Yeah.
He needs to back up a little bit. Now, when the image is smaller, like on the side, and there's a presentation going on, it's a bit better. But man, we don't need to see that much of Sal.
Yeah, I'm too close to my camera too, but I can't do anything about it because it's in between my two monitors. I'm trying to figure that out. Anyway, let me play this part where Rebekah just really challenged me.
Answers in Atheism says, "I'm going to roast you, Rebekah, if I don't get an award." Well, Mike, you're not here enough. I have to tell you, you're rarely here for a live stream, but you
need to stop making so many streams yourself and then show up on Rebekah's channel. That's how you can.
Okay, so number one, I've been on Rebekah's channel like 3 times, right? Like for whole, I've been on camera for like an hour, right? And I'm always lurking in her chat. I just don't type anything. And you think because I keep my mouth shut that alone would win me the Atheist of the Month award, right? But she refused to give it to me. She just dissed me. I mean, like I was really hurt.
So what was Sal's remark?
He said if I quit making so many videos that I'll have time to be in Rebekah's live chat. Yeah. And then there's this other little piece. I just wanted to play this for you.
But aren't you isn't your most of your time actually taken up with studying and reading?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's correct him on that a little bit. And I would recommend that Sal spend more time learning and understanding abiogenesis and evolution rather than coming up, looking for silver bullets in abstracts.
That's part of the Rebekah roast here, I think. Let me see.
Because we're all sinners, and there's no one good, no, not one.
Oh, this.
That is a Bible verse. And
And now and I agree. And I actually think it's more likely for like, people who realize their sinfulness, it's easier for us to come to know the Lord because he's so attractive to us.
Okay. I told her I was going to clip that. I don't know if anybody else sees the humor in that. Do you see the humor in that?
Yeah, it goes straight from you don't spend enough time into in the side chat to you're attractive.
No, she's talking about Jesus being attractive.
She finds Jesus attractive, even though
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
knows what he looked like.
Okay, people that recognize their sinfulness find Jesus attractive, and I thought, okay, that sounds just a little kinky. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
is it the bad boy thing in reverse?
I think so. Yeah, kind of. I don't know.
By the way, we have a connection through Rebekah's channel. Captive Death says they met you, Mike, through Rebekah's channel.
Oh, you did. Cool.
So there
Thank
we
you.
go.
Yeah. So that 3 hours I spent over there on her streams netted me one sub. one loyal chat guy, Captain Death. Thank you. It made it all worth it. Anyway, I wanted to play this because
Yeah, I mean, people think I know nothing about this evolution, abiogenesis, and even though I've read so many books on this topic, Sal, but the thing is, I have a superpower. It's forgetting everything I read.
okay, so every book she's ever held up, she just held up a book, and Sal said, "Oh, you just got all the books, right?" Every book she has ever held up has been by a creationist. And my suggestion, Rebekah,
That was my recollection too.
and this is going to wrap up the roast. My suggestion, Rebekah, is that you read some of the other books that don't agree with those creationists and see what they have to say. Like the one that me and Scott are supposed to be going through, and we keep failing. By was it
Rosenhaus? Yeah, the I can't remember the title, and it's over there. Something about the failure of mathematical
anti-evolutionism.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
But I have read pretty much the whole book. I'm just got to finish up chapter 8, which I think is the final chapter, and I've found it a very good summary of the different ways that creationists misuse math and how they misuse it, and where, how you need to properly evaluate certain of their arguments mathematically. Which I kind of want to bring up about that topoisomerous phenomenon that he was demonstrating when we get a chance. You may have something else that you want to talk about first.
Rebekah also uses the Paul Davies book, though, for Matter to Life.
Oh, really? She does? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, she shows that sometimes. I'm not actually, to be honest with you, I'm not the biggest Paul Davies fan in the world, but he's not a young Earth creationist, so.
Yeah, so I guess I'm not sure how many books she's read, but from Matter to Life, let me see if I got that one.
And talk about stretching an analogy way too long. This pencil thing went on way too long, and just as constructive criticism, I would advise anybody giving a presentation to really cut it down to the bare essentials, because with analogies and illustrations, you don't want to let them go on too long.
Yeah, and then what's that other diagram right next to it? Are those the planets? Or what is that? Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe he was doing a Copernican thing.
Oh, yeah, Copernicus.
Yep.
But, so he's saying that, it looks, just because the phylogeny works out so well, it looks like we have common ancestors, right? That doesn't mean we really do.
In other words, who are you going to believe, me or your lion eyes?
Yeah, your lion eyes.
But that's just another way to say sometimes our paradigms shift. And
So,
to that, I say yes, to, kind of borrow from was it Thomas Kuhn? the structure of scientific revolutions.
Yep.
He definitely laid out that particular model of hermeneutics or whatever, and it's very interesting, and there's some merit to it. But just because our paradigms change, it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to change on a trajectory toward creationism. So yeah, we're aware, Sal, that that our ideas about the world will change, but it's going to be based on new evidence, and it's going to build upon the previous and not totally overturn it.
Well, and the other thing, you can't compare an entire field of science to an optical illusion.
Right. There is no spoon. Is he trying to say that? Like from the Matrix?
Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous to compare the entire field of evolutionary biology to an optical illusion. I mean, my God, Sal, do better, please. Anyway.
Did we lose? How did we lose Andrew?
I don't know. Yeah, Andrew is supposed to come back.
And he says his connection is running slow. He says he'll return if it gets any better.
Play what clip? I'm not sure what clip he wanted me to play. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. What else we got going? So that ends my Rebekah roast. She's being mean to me. She's not going to give me a word of the month until I show up in chat and type a whole bunch of fucking meaningless bullshit, arguing with a bunch of meaningless bullshit. And I get, okay, wait a minute. Oh, I know how to program computers. I'm going to create a bot. Answers in Atheism bot. Evolution is true. Answers in Atheism. I can keep doing that over and over again. I'm doing a bot. Okay.
That's right. Now, getting back to the topoisomerase, of course, their claim is, we don't know how that was done. We don't know whatever the precursors were to the topoisomerase. Basically, cutting it, untwists the DNA and then makes a big circle out of it. Is that what he's saying? Is that what he's saying is happening? And then I guess it gets divided and it retwists.
No, it untwists it and it cuts one or two strands depending on the kind of topoisomerase.
Okay.
And there are 4 different kinds of topoisomerases, and apparently there were at least 3 different evolutionary pathways, if not 4. And they found differences in archaea, in prokarya, and eukaryotes between the different topoisomerase methods. And then they found some homologs in viruses. And viruses need to cut your DNA so they can insert themselves, right? So I posted the name of a paper in Rebekah's chat that goes over all of that. And the thing about topoisomerases is that they are as old as the genetic code itself in DNA. Mm-hmm. And when we look back that far in history, it's like it's like being on the surface of the ocean above the Mariana Trench and looking down and trying to see the bottom, right?
Right.
Topoisomerase is a very, very old protein, gone through a lot of iterations, but yet in that paper I showed all 4 different topoisomerases, they have put together a phylogenetic tree, mm-hmm. and showing some of the relationships in the different organisms. And I don't know how much further than that we can get.
Right.
And the other thing is that topoisomerase that Cell keeps showing, I believe some of those domains on that protein don't actually do anything. They're sort of appendages that just sit out there. But I have to read the paper more carefully if I can guess that. But all you got to do is type in the evolution of topoisomerase, and you will get paper after paper after paper.
Yeah, because I figured there was some sort of, theoretical work done about how that could have come about, and that he just conveniently wasn't talking about it. Once again, not a balanced presentation. So,
now, one other thing that I caught. Now, Cell and I think Sanford wrote a paper on topoisomerase from quite a while ago. And Cell claims to be working on cancer research on topoisomerases. And to the best of my knowledge, Cell does not work in a lab. So why is he making that claim that he's working on cancer research? What is the justification in that? And the paper on topoisomerase, I believe they wrote the paper to prove how incredible it was. And they never, it was published in a secular journal, only because they didn't go down the ID pathway. They just talked about topoisomerase. I have the paper somewhere here. I'll try to find it. Everybody silent? Nobody has anything to say, Drees?
Oh, I was talking away.
When?
While
you
I
muted?
was muted. Can you interpret what Stupid Whore Energy is saying to us? I think she's talking biology.
Sometimes it's difficult to interpret what Stupid Whore Energy is saying to us. Speedbot. Hey, there's a speedbot here. Okay, so where's she saying it?
I just had it on the screen.
Well,
Whoops. That was howdy there. Now I got to find it again.
It is muchly goodly to see you. No, that's not
I was
it.
just saying howdy to her there. I don't know. I'm sure it was there. But
Oh, you can get a topo for an nuclease. So yeah, the thing that cuts DNA, they're prolific, and there are many little pieces of protein that do that, and that's what she's saying. So
very cool.
And that's kind of what that was the connection that paper made to viruses, basically, that it was probably co-opted from but it happened way back to when the genetic code was still kicking around and trying to get its shit together. So
and she meant enolase. That
endonuclease.
It keeps moving as soon as I click. See, this is why we need to somehow get Stupid Whore Energy on here, because she can talk about this stuff.
No, she didn't say endonuclease. She said enolase.
Yeah, she meant to say it.
Oh, enolase. Which I can't find. I've never heard of an enolase. I bet it's an enol. It cleaves an enol bond. Supposedly, enolase RFT. No, that's Shine Dental. I have no idea. An endolase? Endonuclease.
Endonuclease. So, Dessel Grace, maybe you can give us an overview, a quick summary of that proto cells paper you were reading that would make people interested to go to your channel and listen to the paper being read, or find the paper and read it themselves.
Yeah. I much more recommend that they go and they read the paper themselves. That when I read papers and I put them on my channel, I quickly take them down. It's really just a kind of storage system for me.
Oh, gotcha.
It's published from March 2022 of this year. They talk about the different kinds of protocells that that are hypothesized. Like you have your amphiphilic vesicles, or you could go for coacervates, or like you'd even use like gas bubbles and all sorts of other crazy stuff. And they check out what kinds of activities they'll all do, and how to synthesize them, and how they act under different kinds of flow. There's a bunch in there about like microfluidic experiments, which are really, really important these days in abiogenesis, and not just for like the question about protocells, but also about like how organic molecules concentrate, and understanding how the vents work and stuff like that. So there's a lot that you can find in that paper. It talks both about different potential early membranes, and also the different kinds of flow experiments and the equipment that they use in terms of understanding the dynamics of how it works and how they're synthesized and stuff like that.
Very cool.
Look at what Stupid Whore Energy found for us. Okay, enolase, apparently it cleaves an enol bond, but I'm not sure about the chemistry. But that is a little bond with a double bonded carbon and an alcohol that goes back and forth between a carbonyl, which is a double bond with the oxygen. Anyway, but look at that molecule. That looks a little bit like topoisomerase. Look
So
at
it's
that.
very similar, and so just a few adjustments in it, and you have the
Right.
actual thing.
Oh, thank you. What? Why doesn't she come into our room? What the fuck? She's like this. I think she's a molecular biologist, and I pretend she's a bartender.
Yeah, maybe she's trying to keep her reputation in order, and I
Yeah.
can see where her reputation might be harmed by
Bartenders.
appearing on our channel.
She's probably a bartender for a bar at MIT, right? Right on campus, right?
It's like the Goodwill Hunting thing, except instead of being a janitor, she's a bartender at an MIT bar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is a good lead. Thank you, because I was looking for this, and I'm not sure if that what was that paper that I downloaded? Was it Folkeri or something? Or where the
Well,
fuck
thanks
are
to
we?
Dessel, I have that paper now, and I am going to read it.
Yep, that's not bad. And you could do, and the name you're looking for, Speed, is for Terre 2007 on evolution of topoisomerase. What was I going with there? Another thing is competition amongst lipids. Like they talk about like the onset of a kind of selection. You have different kinds of selection operating during the origin of life. Like you don't have your typical natural selection that works on populations of organisms like you do in evolutionary biology, but there are analogous selection processes going on at the origin of life in terms of catalysts and also in terms of lipid networks, and that's another thing that the paper gets into. And then like how RNA operates within the membrane, how it conglomerates and also encourages growth and division. And because you have growth and division, that's really important in terms of exploring sequence space. If you're looking to try to basically do content shuffling of your nucleotides to explore different kinds of sequences to come up with new functions, that's a really good way of doing it, of constantly having these membranes grow and divide, and it's constantly reshuffling the sequences to try to find out new functions.
And talking about protein sequence spaces, Jason Rosenhaus's book has a very large chapter about protein spaces and how probabilities are dealt with. Basically refuting the incredible probability numbers that creationists give out, and why they're really don't have a good basis for basing their probabilities on that.
They say a bunch of dumb stuff a lot of the time. Like they talk about like pre-specified probabilities. So like imagine, for example, you're in a room full of like 13 people, and everybody's got a particular birthday, and so you could say like, what are the chances that every single person in the room had these particular birthdays? And so like, because you're pre-specifying the particular birthdays that you're looking for, but of course, I mean, like everybody in the room, of course, is going to have some friggin' birthday. It's not like it's an unusual thing. And because there are also like multiple different ways that you could get the same function from different kinds of sequences, they act like there's only one target, but as a matter of fact, there are multiple targets. And so it's just the way that they treat probabilities that a lot of the time it's just a total mistreatment of how you're supposed to go about that. Anyway, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I'm going to stick around here and talk with you guys, but like I was saying before I came on the stream, before we went live rather, I'm operating on like 2 hours of sleep, so I'm half zombified today. So I'm probably going to be like slightly incoherent talking to you guys. But
I was trying to get Orge and Jason in here to talk about what we know about the first 400 million years of Earth. When did crust form? What kind of volcanic environment? Like all of that is in setting the stage for the early the very earliest biogenesis. What did the Earth look like if you were to land there on a planet that was doing what Earth was doing in the first 400 million years? What would you encounter in terms of hot springs, volcanic vents, basically plate tectonics, if there even were plates at that time? There were probably just floating chunks of crust, right? Bumping into each other. I'm not sure. I have no idea.
I mean, I'm not as good as Orge when it comes to geology, not even close, but I have read a bunch on Haitian geology. I can tell you the little bit that I know.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
All right. And as a matter of fact, I had a conversation with Orge about this a little while ago, and he was trying to say that he wants to put the ocean somewhere around 3.8 GYA. And me and him are going to have a royal rumble about that one, because I'm not accepting any ocean later than like 4.2. Because if you have an ocean later than 4.2, the timeline just doesn't make any sense. You have the earliest, for a while there, like the earliest life was traced to like 3.8, 3.9, but there's a recent geology paper, it's either by Kapling or Zonley, and they're talking about finding evidence for photosynthesis now around 3.8. And if that's true, if that's the case, there's no way in hell that you don't have like a substantial amounts of water on the earth like way earlier than that, because you need that for life to emerge. So first you have to have the oceans, or at least substantial bodies of water. Then you can have your life, and then from life you can develop photosynthesis. And if you've got the ocean at 3.8 and photosynthesis at 3.8, that shit makes no sense. But anyway, I'll argue with Orge about that when he's around to argue. But basically, most of the articles that I read, you get an ocean anywhere between 4.4 to 4.0. I have seen some articles. As a matter of fact, I think the one that I read last night that Scott was talking about wants to put it at 3.8, like Orge was talking about. So it's not like he stands alone on that. But most of the articles that I read put it at 4.4 to 4.0. You do have plate activity. Here's a shit ton of lightning going on. It's the Earth is spinning much more quickly. The moon is a lot closer, so the tides are more intense. The solar radiation is more intense. There's no ozone layer. I don't know, what else can I tell you? There's a shit ton of hydrothermal vents all across the seafloor because of increased plate activity. It's driving all of that dense material up from the mantle, and it's hitting the atmosphere and ocean interface with the mantle. So it pushes up through the mantle and hits that ocean water and goes through serpentinization. And that's happening all across the seafloor. And it's even happening in like freshwater lake environments.
And one thing that is missed that I think is important is that lack of an ozone layer and the UV radiation. Okay, that had to be on a 22, 23-hour cycle. Is that where we were at?
I mean, are you asking like how the length of the day?
Yeah.
The last that I read from Russell, and he's a geologist, but see, like Russell's kind of I'll tell you right up front that I really like Russell as an original life researcher, and his specialty is geology. But the kind of geology that he argues for in the Haitian, he's a bit of a standalone guy. He argues for a water world, and as far as he goes about the length of the day, he says it's a hell of a lot shorter. I think he places it somewhere between like 9 to 11 hours. What else?
Anyway, so there were periods where we were being intensely bombarded by radiation, and there were periods where we were not. And there's a cycle there, right? And that is some of the laboratory experiments they've done. They've used cycles of UV radiation with cycles where there wasn't any, and that happened every day.
Yeah, you got all sorts of different researchers using solar radiation, and it's not just people like Sutherland and Bonfio and all that who are relying on solar energy. It's also people like Para McKellian who relies on UVC radiation, which is coming through the atmosphere at that time because there's no ozone layer. UVC doesn't get through anymore because of our ozone. And then of course you have a shit ton of meteorites coming through.
Cool. So yeah, but I think those cycles are really important, and the fact that the Earth rotated, we had a hell of a lot of cycles. So there were cycles and cycles within cycles, and that is really important in a lot of this biochemistry. So for setting the stage for the early Earth, it would kind of be like holy hell, like a bad day at Raleigh's bar. Uh, oh, my youth. Anyway, there were like a lot of volcanic vents, volcanoes, geothermal activity on whatever land there was. They found in one of these papers, they found evidence of basically carbonate erosion and deposition. I think back to about the first 300 million years, 2 or 300 million. So there was obviously water pouring down on the surface of these basically relatively hot slabs flowing off into the ocean, being recycled back up. Lots of cycles. So it's kind of, my imagination, like when we imagine the early Earth, we often don't imagine the reality of what was going on. I mean, it was pretty intense. Shit was happening, right? So I think that's
Hey, you want to go ahead and put the link in the side chat?
Oh, yeah, sure. Is that something you're going to handle, or are we going to double up?
It.
You
it's there now.
You handle it. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to point out that enolace that stupid energy found is also a dimer, and this is type 2 topoisomerase. This is the one that Cell shows all the time, right? The type 2, I think.
Yes, he shows it all the time, and I think he showed that one last night.
Yeah, and there's there aren't a lot of beta sheets here. These are mostly alpha helices. I don't see any beta sheets, and this one does have beta sheets on top. But nevertheless, there's the dimerization, and I'm guessing whatever the active center of that protein is very similar. But I'm going to look into it, and I'll do some downloads and some comparisons. And this is a really good lead. I am so excited. So I want to hug stupid Horror Energy for this. You need a hug, SWE.
I'll give you some names of geologists who publish about the Hadean. You could look for Catling, spelled with a C. You could look for, what's that?
Catling?
Catling with a G at the end.
Okay.
Then there's Zahnle, that's Zahnle. Then there's one that I'm not going to spell because it's too long, but Christensen Toten. Started with
back up to the second one. What was it? Donnelly?
Zahnle.
Spell it.
Zah. Yeah.
Okay.
Zahnle.
Oh, Zahnle. Okay, go ahead.
And you got T. Mark Harrison, who's like one of the main guys who studied the Hadean zircons. Who, when I read him, I haven't read all of his stuff, but reading him, he's actually arguing for, like, this is why I get annoyed when we start talking about the Hadean, because even though I think there's good arguments for what I need for a good abiogenesis model, nevertheless, there's all sorts of other stuff where they're just like in wild disagreement. So the Hadean was originally named, with a connotation like it's a hell world. It's like this terrible, destructive, terrifying place. But then you read somebody like T. Mark Harrison, and he envisions it kind of similar to today, where it's a kind of moderate environment, and like hell is totally gone.
Really?
And then you got so originally the Hadean's like this hot fucking ball of fire, and then you have T. Mark Harrison, where it's moderate and it's actually like decently suitable and analogous to today. And then you have other ones like Christensen Toten and Catling,
who are arguing for freezing fucking cold snowball Earth.
Right.
So yeah, so it's just like they need to get their shit together when it comes to that. They really need to like really get more into the Hadean and flesh it out. But they are making progress. And like I said, the things that are important for me in terms of establishing a good bio model, all I need an ocean. I need relatively high levels of CO2, and I need hydrothermal vents on the on the bottom of watery environments. And all three of those are pretty much consensus territory. Even the
hot springs.
Yeah, and you want them at hot springs. So like the only thing that's controversial for what I need is the CO2 level. But even people like Catling and Chrysanthemum, they argue that because there are so many meteorite impacts, the impacts result in something they call impact ejectoweathering, and this shuttles the CO2 out of the atmosphere. And so they're actually arguing for a low CO2 level and a much more alkaline ocean during the Hadean, which would spell trouble for somebody like me. But their model still converges on high CO2, which results in a more acidic ocean by around 4.1, 4.2 GYA. And so even their like worst case scenario model still works okay for me. And so with that, I have what I need from the Hadean to proceed with my bio model. But still, like I said, with respect to all the other stuff, they're all over the friggin' place.
Yeah, the startling thing that I just remembered what I read in the paper was they said that 10 million years after the moon collided with the Earth, or basically the planetoid that created the moon, we had liquid water covering the Earth. 10 million years. I don't know. I'll find that again. That seems rather, but 10 million years is kind of a long time. So I don't know.
Yeah,
that's Walter. Oh my God.
Hello.
Oh my God. You're alive.
I am. I have been dead for a while, but I'm back.
Everybody
Hopefully.
said you were dead.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, you got killed in like a spring break party or something down in Florida.
God, I feel like it's been longer. I feel like it's been at least since fall break.
Yeah.
It has been a long time since I've seen you on a stream. How's it going, and how's your school going?
It's going well. Yeah, I'm about to be in my senior year of undergrad, which is crazy. So I'm applying to graduate programs and talking to people and shit right now. I've also been doing research full time this summer.
What are you going to be graduating with?
I have a major in biology, ecology, and evolution, and a minor in anthropology.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What kind of research are you doing?
So I work in a phylogenetics methods lab. So most of what they do is a lot of model development, stuff like that, especially for biogeographic inference. And I got involved with that lab because that's like the main phylogenetics lab on campus, and it has a lot of connections to other stuff. Mm-hmm. But my actual independent research project is I'm just basically doing a reanalysis of a different like hominin data set, and I'm hoping to dig more into like actual methodological stuff once I actually get to grad school.
Cool. Bayesian beast for the win.
We mostly use Redbase.
You could probably help me. I'm trying to dig into Python and automatically downloading signs and lines and various proteins and doing comparisons. And I'm just... You doing any coding?
Programming? Yeah, a decent amount.
What language?
I switch back and forth between R and Python depending on my mood, mostly. And also how much bullshit I'm willing to put up with like text parsing.
With R.
Yeah, no, I usually do text parsing in Python, but I feel like R has better infrastructure for like actual phylogenetic methody type stuff, you know.
Have you looked at BioPython?
I don't think so. I mostly just use like, ape, ggtree, stuff like that.
Oh my God, BioPython has interfaces to Entrez and it has just all sorts of stuff for. Well, I don't like their alignment functions, but they have all sorts of stuff for translating, transcription, creating sequences, comparing them, pulling them down en masse. So you pull down thousands of sequences, but it's a package called BioPython. And I'm surprised that you're not using it. It makes me think that I'm probably an amateur and I'm probably using something that nobody, I don't know, but there's a lot of YouTube videos on it.
Mm-hmm.
Its basic function is a sequence, and then it has a sequence record. But you can read like tab separated values. You can read a whole bunch of different formats from NCBI and Entrez automatically.
I have one of the postdocs in my lab is working on a Python package that will be for like phylogenetic tree simulation mostly.
Yeah.
So like if you want to simulate data sets and run model testing and stuff like that. And I think the reason he chose Python is also, probably in addition to some of those reasons, I think the main one was because of how like the tree objects were treated in Python and a lot of like the Python groundwork versus how they're treated in Ape. I have to talk to him about it, but it has something to do with like, you can like different branches are treated as independent variables instead of being stored as like just, essentially a Nuix string that's printed every time you want to print it in whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
Python, another useful package is Seaborn for graphical representation of, like every kind of biological graph you want, like violin graphs and heat maps, matrices, and all that stuff. So, but it takes so much work to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just slogging away slowly and trying to identify. I've got big lists of lines and signs and ERVs, and trying to make sense out of them, map them to the genome out on NCBI, see where the hell everything is, figure out like I would like to figure out how many signs have landed in introns, for instance, and I'm kind of working on that, shit like that.
Interesting. So you're trying to do that like through Python. Is there infrastructure in like different programs? I don't really. So like I said, I've been doing mostly hominin stuff. I'm working with a lot more morphological data, total evidence analysis type stuff. So usually I'm not doing my own alignments and I'm not actually really dealing with genetic information.
Yeah, you can call out to Clustal and a few other places to get alignments and then download them. And so they have a number of interfaces. But the thing about figuring out whether or not the signs are in introns, I'm probably going to have to develop my own tools for that. But then I've only just scratched the surface of BioPython. There's so much to it that I need to learn. That they may have something, and I just have to get familiar with the tools.
Yeah, I feel like building a program that can, one, recognize introns, and then two, count like sign insertions in introns. That seems pretty hard. Seems very hard.
No, I don't think it's going to be that bad because
really?
you can download the records that give you the exons and the introns, and they actually give you the location, right? So I just have to, basically model the entire chromosome, and then I have to basically come up with a structure to find all the introns, and then I got to go through and do the laborious "Are you inside of this range?" Right? For all, because I have the same sequences for all of the signs and lines, and I should be able to do the comparison. So I'm hopeful, but fuck, I am so old, Walker.
That's why you're training people like me and Andrew to take over your projects.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to take it over. I should have a GitHub account.
For sure. I'm surprised you don't, to be honest.
They're free, aren't they?
Yeah, it's easy to make a GitHub.
I mean, you can get professional and business level accounts.
I let my professional lapse. I've got a GitHub account, but I'm so embarrassed because I put my very early Ruby on Rails stuff up there, and it was so pathetically naive that, and I never uploaded anything after that, right? So I've got like my first, baby's first steps up there, and I got to go delete all that shit.
Yeah,
And then-
I don't have like I'm not really working on my own package or anything, so I haven't had a real reason to make a GitHub yet, but I'm sure I probably will soon.
Yeah. I keep meaning to look at R, but I want to know why R first. Why do I need it? I guess it does a better job of massive amounts of data. Is that what R does for you?
To be honest, one of the main reasons I've used it is because there's just infrastructure there for a lot of the stuff I want to do, you know, and there's just not that level of support for a lot of other languages. I think the main thing that supposedly makes R unique is like it's like statistical programming or something, and it, you know, it's better for like stochastic estimation or something. I don't really know. I just use it.
Yeah, so Icarus is, or let's see, what the hell is that? Icarus is saying Python is evil, Ruby is greater than Python. The problem with Ruby, and the reason I switched to Python, is because Ruby doesn't have enough packages, doesn't have enough support, and Python does.
Yeah.
But Ruby is like, oh my God, it's so heavenly. It's just such a wonderful language. But you get used to working with what you got. And I just started a Go course because I still have the project of taking apart Mendel's accountant and finding out exactly what the fuck they're doing, because something stinks about that program, and I would like to find out what. But it's written in Go, and of course Go is so much like C and Python that you can read it, but I don't know. I'm having a go at learning Go, so.
Oh, I thought that was the #1 population genetic simulator in the field.
Go? You mean
Oh, Mendel's accountant.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just #1. I mean, everybody's using it as long as they're creationists. Nobody's using it that isn't a creationist, because they don't document their algorithm at all. They don't tell you what the fuck they're doing. So you got to go figure it out. And I have a new grandchild coming up there in the upper left there, Walker.
Oh, very nice. You have what was your other cat's name? Was it like Lucifer?
Loki and Thor?
Loki.
And
Sorry,
Lucifer,
I can't believe I thought you'd name your cat Lucifer.
Yeah, this one I'm naming Snack.
Mm.
Because I have Loki, Thor, and their Snack. So, yep.
I'm glad you kept up with the naming theme.
Oh yeah, Loki, Thor, and Snack. I was gonna name them Delicious. That was the other recommendation that my cats had for me bringing a new kitten into the house.
Or how about Taste Like Chicken?
Yeah, there's another one. I think one of them suggested that. Let's see. It doesn't simulate selection. And the other thing is, I think they're just taking mutations and like creating mutation records and adding them to the thing. So they're just like Sanford wants to. He's accumulating what he calls mutations, and it looked like that's what they were doing, and they weren't doing anything serious at all. And like, if I were to start modeling this shit, it would be a whole lot different approach than what I think they're using. The problem is they load this huge fucking, I think it's an XML file to set up their parameters. And you got to decode all that and figure out exactly what they're putting in those parameters and all that. Oh, and the other problem is Mendel's accountant hasn't been updated. So it quit running on the most recent versions of Mac OS. So I can't even run the fucking thing anymore. What are they running it on? They must have, I don't know. Anyway, they probably don't run it that much.
An unupdated Mac from a couple of generations ago.
Okay, I should have got a cat simulator instead of a cat. That's a great idea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So okay, you're doing cool stuff.
Ah, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying. I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm at a weird place. I went to Evolution, and I wasn't expecting anybody to care about what I was doing, like, at all, because there's fucking hundreds of people there. But I talked to a lot of people, got like a lot of pamphlets and stuff like that, and so I'm actually like I'm at a point where I'm pretty strongly considering doing a master's in Germany, which I think that'd be pretty cool.
Masters in what?
In Germany. Well,
Oh,
master's in biology, but it would be in Germany.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that would be an
My
opportunity
niece,
for sure.
my niece lives out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she works for the military. She's in their top secret coding department. She has to kill me if she tells me what she does. So, anyway, her and her
She's
wife
the one
live in-
controlling the satellites and the drones.
Yeah. Yep. Nikki. Pretty neat people they are. So Cat Simulator, I have something after the show to show you. Oh, and I'm gonna want to get out of here, Top Dog. But anyway, did we pin oh, I didn't pin the nobody's coming in.
Grace, I just sent that paper to my iPad. It took me a while to remember how to do that. So I am going to be reading that tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's not a bad paper. There are some things that they say. I was actually talking to Speed earlier about, excuse me, when certain authors will publish something in a peer-reviewed paper, and I've already read like a bunch of other peer-reviewed papers that blow what they say right out of the friggin' water. And I can't stand it when certain researchers like aren't up to speed on certain issues and they're just kind of backlogged, and they print a new article that has old information, and that really annoys me. And there's a couple of small instances in there where that creeps in this paper, but for the most part, it's pretty good.
Do you make commentary about that, like during the paper reading that you do?
So like, so this, the particular examples from this paper are like slipping my mind right now because I'm zombified. But
Yeah.
one that's really coming to the forefront that annoyed me when I was down in South Florida was there was this one paper that just took the water paradox for granted. And like that annoyed the shit out of me because of how many papers have been published on that.
Mm-hmm.
And this person was just completely oblivious about what the research on that was. And I think that was on a paper talking about a totally unrelated abio topic having to do with the evolution of amino acyl tRNA synthetases. But he just like took the paradox for granted. Stuff like that just annoys me when I see it.
Gotcha.
That's Protocells, Milestones, and Advances, that one.
Yeah, that's the paper Scott's talking about.
Yep. We got it on Wiley. Let's see, where the fuck is it? Oh, here we go. Need download now. Okay, I'll put it up in the directory. Have you put it up in the directory yet?
Me? No,
Okay.
I just sent it to my Kindle.
Yeah. So, Walker, you have interest in abiogenesis at all?
Like in passing, I guess. I think it's an interesting question. I don't really know anything about it.
Yeah, we're building a directory of papers. We got 270 up there so far. It's some books. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Little project. Yeah.
Is it like a Google Drive folder or something? Or
Yeah, it's an atheist-only Google Drive folder. I'm being an asshole.
is it the Google Drive folder that you made like a long ass time ago that me and
Yeah.
you were
It's
discussing?
the
Yeah.
old
Okay,
one.
I probably still have access to it then.
Yeah, you still have access to it. And it's called abiodecil, I think, is the subdirectory that we're putting together. It's got rather well-named papers with the first author name, the year, and the title. So you can download the whole thing as a zip and do searches on it. Should be pretty cool. So we're working on it. I got another 100 papers to rename.
Wait, so do you have to like reformat all of them, or
No,
are you reading the papers? Like, are you proofing them before you put them in, or is it just like a massive storage for all of them?
Just everything I found. Some of them might have my highlights in them. I'm not sure if those transfer. I think they do with the PDF. But there's going to be a diverging branch there because I have my local copy or highlight. But no, I read some of them, but not all of them. Certainly not all of them. That would take me forever. But I think Decil's read them all. He reads them. In fact, he reads them on his YouTube channel, and then he hides the video from me.
Yeah, Decil wants to be wrong about more and more things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work hard toward that every single day.
Yeah.
If you're reading hundreds of papers a day, that's like Maddox pace over there.
Oh, yeah, Maddox
You
reads
could
a lot.
become another John Maddox in a few years.
He reads
Yeah,
10.
yeah.
Oh God, Walker. So on the last weather report, I think we went over. Okay, there's a guy that works in the Lenski lab.
Oh, okay, I saw that, and that's yeah.
And
go
Eric
ahead.
did a thing on it on the same section we did, but it was so fucking funny. They were trying to tell this guy that actually worked in the lab what his research said.
Yeah. Okay, you know what else was really fucking funny about that situation? So, I was just chilling on Twitter and I got a private message that was like, "Hey, check out, Maddox's YouTube video where he just gets like his ass handed to him by a Linsky dude." And I was like, sick. And so I watched the stream. And as soon as I saw him, I recognized him. I actually met him at Evolution. He led a workshop for the undergrads, and I was like one of 20 undergrads that was in his workshop.
Oh, that Jay Bundy guy?
Yeah, Jay Bundy. Yeah, so I know him and a bunch of other people from his lab. I mean, he did it virtually, but he ran it co with a dude named Rodrigo, and I hung out with Rodrigo for a while, and he's a super cool dude. And Jay was so fucking funny at the workshop.
He's got a very funny YouTube channel. Yeah. He's hilarious and scientific at the same time. So.
And him and I'm not sure if it's that same guy are doing simulations. Basically, they're doing evolution simulations, and they're finding out all kinds of stuff. So they're doing their own like computer-based Linsky, experiments.
Yeah, a lot of So Jay's doing something interesting. He's doing like digital evolution experiments or something.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Most of the people from Minnesota, I don't know if they're actually in the same lab, but they're both at Minnesota. They're doing an experimental evolution lab, but they mostly work with Saccharomyces yeast.
At the U of M?
Yeah, that's where he is. He's at University of Minnesota.
I thought he was in Michigan.
No, so he just graduated from the Linsky lab, and now he's doing a postdoc at Minnesota.
Shit, he's like 14 miles from me.
Yeah, probably.
I got to go meet this guy.
Yeah.
No. You better not go to his location because you don't want to get back into any habits that you've.
Oh yeah. You can't walk. You can't walk in the room. Yeah.
That was the funniest thing about the workshop that we did. So it was basically an all morning thing, and him and Rodrigo went last. And the ones before him, they had been like interesting and informative, right? But they were all like pretty dry. And then they come out and, they're like blasting music and like Jay picks up like stacks of money. I don't know if it was real money. If it was real money, then he was just holding on to like thousands of dollars at his desk. And he's like, "You want to know how to make these in academia?" And he had like that, 4-foot blunt, like right behind his camera. It was just, It was so funny. It was, we were all dying in there.
He's got a studio that's just incredible. So
it honestly is. It's insane. It kind of makes sense considering, like, apparently he's been especially like hands off for COVID and stuff. He's been quarantining quite a bit, and also since he does like digital evolution stuff, that's his workspace and his streaming setup and like pretty much everything. So it kind of makes sense. He also makes a lot of music.
Yeah, I've got let's see. Okay, I'm gonna run. Last night he did the thing on Erica. He was really excited that Erica phoned him, so it was pretty cool.
In fact, he was so excited he came to the conclusion that he and Erica are meant to be together.
Erica was the one that sent me the Maddox clip.
Yeah. So let's see, where is it? Where the what the hell? I'm trying to find his intro here. He's doing the thing on Erica. I forget what he is funny and he's cool. He gets on and he sings and he does just all kinds of shit. He's pretty cool. And then he's got this gigantic bong.
Yeah, he just
he's pretty cool. But he's got video.
His camera's on for when he rips the bong. So
his video is on. I'm going to put this in our description again.
Maddox, you just hear it in the background.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, I will put his channel again in our description. And he's also got a Pocket Locker
Pocket
channel.
Locker 86.
Yeah, with less on it, but I'm not sure.
Well, he simulcasts, I think, and I think he does it from Pocket Locker because he tends to read all the side chats from Pocket Locker more than the other one.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I think so too.
I'm not sure how that works, but
I think it's kind of interesting because I feel like that's probably not. I mean, I don't know really how streaming on YouTube works, but I feel like it's probably not the best for growth considering you're kind of like splitting your audience a bit.
well, one of them is
Yeah.
Jay Bundy, so that's actually
Yeah.
kind of smart. And then Pocket Locker, so you only really have to remember one.
Yeah, what if he's got
Yeah.
that?
And he also simulcast streams to Twitch, I think.
Yeah, here's more from Jay. Okay, he's got a Jay Bundy website with some research on it, and he's got a Discord, and then let's see, the YouTube channel Pocket Lockers here. So I'll put that in there too.
Maybe he's trying to become the next Neil deGrasse Tyson,
He could. He's got the
and
personality.
that's how you do it for this upcoming generation.
Yeah. Yep. He has very few subs compared to what I would think he'd have. For
Yeah,
the shit he does. Pretty cool.
I agree. I think he should get more subs. I think everyone should go subscribe because he's very funny.
Well, since Erica gave him a plug, he's probably going to get a
got
lot
a
more
boost.
subs.
Yeah, so I checked his channel after his initial conversation with Maddox, and he was at like 80, so he's already kind of doubled.
95. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell? I'm not subscribed on my Answers to Atheism account? Or I didn't subscribe
Good
to Jay
shame.
Bundy. Yeah, I'll take care of that. I subscribe to my personal account, but because then I get messages when he goes live. So that's pretty cool. Yep. Oh. Yeah.
The things that we do around this place just keep continuing to grow. Gut Sick Gibbon made a video about yours truly.
He's
Plus,
so excited.
we will be reacting to some of these creatard fools on the
Oh, he
internet.
calls them creatards too.
Folks, things are happening. I'm so glad you tuned in. It's time for gaming and shaming.
Anyway, he's got some crazy shit. He goes through some of his simulations, and he's got some pretty good videos you ought to check out. That digital simulation he's doing. He's finding out a lot about populations and what the fuck was it? I can't remember. But anyway, I'm too tired. Pretty cool stuff. But yeah, so he's in Minnesota. Christ, I gotta have a cup of coffee with this man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's actually moved to Minnesota. But he's a postdoc at U of M right now. Huh?
Yeah, so I'm going to get my ass down to the University of Minnesota and audit some classes and get to know some of these people in that department. I just have to. It's just such a pain in the ass to drive into the university. Like, I'm guessing if you had a place to park a car at the University of Minnesota, you could rent that out for about $1,000 an hour.
Is it downtown in like Twin Cities area or what?
Yeah, it's right across the river, right across the Mississippi River from the main Minneapolis, in between Minneapolis and St. Paul. And it's called East Bank. Well, they have East Bank and West Bank. East Bank is where everything's at. And my problem is they have a bookstore there. Oh, God, I have to stay away from that. Last time I went to that bookstore, I spent $600.
Just buying textbooks and stuff?
Yeah.
That's so funny because that's every college student's least favorite part about school, going and dropping $600 on the fucking bookstore.
Oh God, it's so exciting! And then I brought my niece in and I bought her textbooks too. And yeah, that was an expensive day. I need to stay away from that.
Well,
Yeah,
I always used to love going to a university bookstore, but yeah, the prices were prohibitive.
Oh, they're horrible. Fuck.
I mean, I don't like buying books at a bookstore. I sometimes like going in there and just walking around, seeing what, like, I don't know, school paraphernalia they have and stuff. But
Yeah.
the textbooks, I don't know. I don't like reading stuff online, but I would much rather find an online copy of something than pay like $200.
Yeah, and that's getting to be a lot easier. I had to buy Dan Grar's book though for $140 because that was not available anywhere. But I gotta, I'll be right back. I gotta grab something.
Okay.
So, are you going to be able to produce any YouTube content anytime soon?
God, you know, I keep working on stuff and then starting and stopping. Like, I have a bunch of ideas for YouTube videos. I just haven't really had the time, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last year with everything getting back in person, it was kind of in a lot of ways, kind of a difficult transition in reverse, you know, because I had gotten used to being online, and then it's like, oh, I actually have to go back to campus, and like, I can't watch my lectures on 2 times speed anymore.
That's the thing is coming out of the pandemic level, you know, of sheltering at home, I guess is what they call it. And then, you know, just at the point of life you're in right now, that phase of life, things are always topsy-turvy every, 6 months or whatever, however long a semester is, 3 months, I don't know. But, yeah, so things are just going to be constantly changing. It's hard to be consistent.
I gotta show you what I did at the university bookstore on one shopping trip, right? And I bought textbooks on top of it. Oh God, I can't. Okay, I bought this for $400.
Oh my gosh!
And this is the rat brain, like the entire brain of the rat. Yeah,
that sounds almost like the title of a superhero.
Yeah,
Rat brain.
A rat brain.
Flowers for Alfie.
So is it more like Pinky or more like the brain?
It's anyway. Yeah, I need to stay away from that store if I go to the university.
Like Nerdy Rodent said, my brain in the chat. That's pretty funny. Wait, so what compelled you to buy that? Like, what compelled you to drop $400 on CT scans of a rat?
It's studying neuroscience, basically. The rat, like I have a model where I took slices of styrofoam and I took all the slices of the human brain and laid them out so that like when you first start studying the brain, the most challenging thing is trying to get the geometry right in your head. Because until you can get the geometry right about where all those different nuclei hook up and where all the pathways are, it's really difficult to learn. It's just like all you hear is wah, 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 you know, blah, 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 you know, until you develop an image. So basically that particular book gives you every single nuclei or nucleus in the rat brain, which is pretty incredible. And
I think you traumatized Nerdy. Nerdy Rodent.
Why? Oh, the rat brain? Scared?
Rat brain,
oh, no, he's afraid of rats?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's triggered? Oh, what happened to him?
You should have put out a trigger warning before you held up the rat brain.
Sorry. Oh, no, that was
that family
rat,
member.
No, that rat died of natural causes and donated its body to science.
Oh.
So it was not euthanized. You know, we did not hurt that rat. No rats were hurt on Answers in Atheism.
I'm sure.
Oh, I had a cow brain. My friend bought me a cow brain for Christmas.
Like brain in a vat type thing, or
a real brain? Yeah, a brain in a styrofoam box, freezer pack, and I dissected it.
Okay. I was wondering what you do with it.
Years ago, I was like a teacher's aide at a 3rd grade class or something like that, and one of the moms, who was like an RN, brought in a human brain to show all the kids.
Yeah, I held one at the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, I didn't know how to feel about that, but I was fascinated. Fascinated, just me personally. But I didn't know how to feel about bringing it for 3rd graders.
I went up there at a seminar, and there was a lady there, and she had a human brain, and she handed it to me so I could get a feel for it, right? And you put on gloves, right? You're holding a brain, and I thought, I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop this fucker. It's gonna go splat all over the floor, right? It's like, but it's like it's really, really a weird sensation to hold a human brain, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they put it back afterwards.
Yeah,
Put
it back.
Reanimate it.
Yeah, I didn't reanimate that one. It was pretty toasted.
Yeah, we put the brain back in the guy, but he threw a little girl into the river. So
Yeah.
afterwards, so yeah,
Yeah.
not quite the same.
Yeah, it always ends that way.
If anybody gets that Frankenstein reference, then yay.
Yeah. God, I saw that when I was a little boy, and I was just horrified.
It's a classic.
It's like, no.
I read the original in like high school sometime, but I haven't seen the movie.
I like how they do Frankenstein movies now, where they historicize, von Frankenstein, and figure out a way to make a Frankenstein modern day or whatever. It's just it's really cool. I think those stories are awesome.
Have you seen the movie Young Frankenstein?
That is the very fucking best ever.
That's Frankenstein. But remember, at the end, he was okay with saying Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So they were going to get, they got, who played the doctor, Dr. Frankenstein? I always forget his name. I love the comedian, and I always forget his name.
Yeah, the same guy that did Willy Wonka, Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Gene Wilder had it had that funny British guy with the glass eye.
I was just watching some YouTube video about actors, and it was there was some other actor who was offered that role, and he turned it down. And then they got Gene, and Gene Wilder was just the perfect choice for that. That was excellent. It's pretty funny.
Marty Feldman was the name of the Igor character.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Cloris Leachman was like the scary maid or whatever of the house.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
That's right, Jefferson. It was Marty Feldman.
Yeah, Marty Feldman was the classic.
Gene Wilder was just really funny in movies and comedy.
He was always great. Pretty cool.
He was really great in Blazing Saddles too, as kind of a subdued straight man.
There's something wrong with Mel Brooks. I haven't figured out what, but I love his movie.
But whoever turned down that part really should have said to themselves, it's a Gene Wilder movie. I mean, a Mel Brooks movie. So yes, I don't see how you can go wrong in a Mel Brooks movie.
Yep. So we're gonna shoot her in the head.
Well, it's up to you. I was hoping Jefferson would join us, but he may have other things that he's in the middle of.
More important things than us.
Yes, he's got more gravitas, I think.
He does, yeah.
Walker, I was thrilled that you were able to hop on. I know probably as the fall heats up or whatever, and I mean that metaphorically, not literally. As the fall comes and goes, you will probably get busier and busier.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, sorry.
I send you links for a long time, and every now and then I'll send you one. But then I decided you don't exist anymore because you never come. Just so I'm thrilled you're here today. Thank you. Cool. You broke up.
Make a. Sorry, I think my internet's going out. But yeah, no, I'm trying to get more involved with YouTube stuff because it's something I really enjoy. I mean, for the longest time, first of all, for the past semester or for a while, you had your weather reports at like 2, which of course I had class during like every single one. Just like I think I needed a break from dealing with a lot of the YouTube yaks just because it's a lot of mental energy. There's only so many brain cells. Yeah.
Don't tell me about a break. I need a break so fucking bad. I'm so frustrated with like even Rebekah, right? And Rebekah's a good thinker, right? But she just has this wall. And and they all have this, like even all the PhDs, even Fuzrana, they start with the Bible. They don't start with the textbooks. They start with the Bible, and they have to tack everything to the Bible, and it drives you crazy after a while because you run into this block, you know. Like my favorite one is, well, have you observed that happening? It's like we haven't even fucking observed a sodium ion combining with a chlorine ion, right? We haven't observed, not in the way that they think that we should observe things.
I mean,
And,
I
you know,
think that's probably impossible to observe, right?
yeah, we do science mostly by inference, you know, inference to our best knowledge, and that's how we do evolution. And they don't get that. And then Cell last night on that video that, you know, we started with today, he was talking about low quality science. There's that tosser that wrote a book and he came up with the idea. Who is he?
Stadler.
No,
Scientific approach to evolution. That's probably where he's getting it from.
Tanya Stadler?
Rob
No.
Stadler.
Rob Stadler.
I thought there was a guy before that came up with low quality and high quality science.
Maybe.
I got his book somewhere. Yeah.
It's possible because Stadler is not exactly like the brightest bulb in the box, so it probably is drawing from somebody else.
Yeah.
So, Standing offered to set up a abiogenesis debate between me and Rana. I accepted it, but I haven't heard back from Standing, so I don't know whether or not he's actually going to go through with it.
I had a good conversation with Fuzz Rana on my channel a few months back, and he wants to come back again and talk again, and I definitely want to have him back. He's a nice guy, pretty cool to talk to. And then you talk to him and you wonder why he believes what he believes.
Yeah, that was honestly another thing that, like, I feel like Rebekah, Peter, those two are pretty new, but I feel like I'd like to talk to them at some point because they both seem pretty nice.
I can hook you up with either one. Well, Rebekah will have you on her channel, but Peter, I had him on. We did a premiere last week or something with Peter, and we got into abortion for about 20 minutes, but it was a good talk. It was a fairly good talk. And again, with Peter, I just can't believe it. Why he believes what he believes. He's so bright, and he's so analytical, and he pushes back on all the young Earth creation stuff. And then at the end of the day, he decides on young Earth creation.
Yeah. No, I think it's interesting. I'm curious to see what he does in the future. Like if he continues to pursue paleoanthropology. Because obviously, Liberty University isn't doing anything in paleoanth, so you'd probably have to go to a secular school for something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying it's impossible to keep your beliefs in like a paleoanth program, but I feel like it's just a very different environment to be exposed to than like the Yak bubble.
Yep. Yeah, Liberty's kind of an amazing place. Cell was going out there to talk this week. He's going to give his talk about proteins. Cell is like obsessed with. He asked us all, did proteins all descend from a common protein ancestor, right? Mm-hmm. Which indicates a real misunderstanding of proteins and protein chemistry and abiogenesis. The thought that, and he thinks, and we all said, no, there were multiple small peptides turned into proteins, has thousands of ancestors, right? Not one common ancestor. And he was like, oh, gotcha, evolutionist. It's like, I don't know what he's thinking, but he's going out to give an entire talk on this, and I think he's going to embarrass himself. Because no one thinks that proteins came from one common protein ancestor that evolved in all the other proteins. That's not what happened.
No, I would say that's even testable, right? You could do sequence alignments and then do a phylogenetic analysis with like completely different proteins.
Well,
and if they don't form a nesting pattern.
He keeps showing it on his where the fuck is it here? I think he actually showed it last night again. It's one of his illustrations where he shows you collagen and topoisomer, or collagen and zinc finger 136. And he says, how could this evolve into this? And it's like, it
probably didn't. They're different protein families, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. With abiogenesis, whatever first became the first cell compartment basically encapsulated a whole lot of small peptides and RNAs, right? Mostly
Yeah.
RNAs. And there were a whole lot of different RNAs, and each one is the source of a different protein family. And
Well,
then
I would even go as far as to say that a lot of protein families emerged billions of years after the last common ancestor of all life, Luca.
Yes, yeah, that's
You
the
know?
other. And new protein families pop up when you have when you have some sort of exons or domain shuffling, right? With
Mhm.
you get a domain from this protein and a domain from that protein, and it becomes a thing, walks into a biochemical pathway, and now you have a new family that's evolving.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you guys check to see what paper Demeter just posted in the chat?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Demeter. But anyway, Sal is just absolutely thinks that slam dunk proof that evolutionists are admitting defeat when we say that. Oh, evolution of networks, protein domain organization. Let me pop that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got to get rid of me, and I got to put Chrome all, and let me start my cam. Oh. Is that me? What the hell's going on? Oh, you put it up, Scott. I see.
Oh, I was talking and I'm muted. Hello, Reed. Great to have you aboard. And that was me. I shared the paper.
Yeah, I see that.
Hey, Walker, it's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. Have you been dropping like the brain bug with you?
Yes, yeah. That's Hive Science is what I call it now, the channel.
Okay.
But it's got a pin in it anyway for the time being because I'm moving. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, very cool. I've seen some of, like I said, I've sort of just been pretty inactive on YouTube in general. Like I haven't watched really anything, but I don't know. I see a lot of your stuff from time to time, and I check out like some of your bug profile videos and stuff. I always appreciate those.
Yeah, I'd like to get back into that stuff more. I've been doing just whatever I can capture around the area here lately, just talking about local wildlife and stuff.
I think my Chrome is going to hell.
Is Trace here?
Oops, sorry.
I think so.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit zombified out. I'm just kind of like slowly falling into a coma while trying to read the chat.
Well, it's good to see you too.
Yes, you too. How's it going?
Oh, all right, I suppose. All things considered, I'm here hanging out with some cool people, so I can't complain too much.
Heard that.
Yeah, people who want to argue about science papers like a bunch of nerds with me. That's what I appreciate in life. Oh, so I hear your education is going well, Walker. I was listening while I was doing other stuff.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope other people like what I'm doing. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's been going pretty well. I had to take Orgo 2 last semester. Absolutely hated it. Ended up changing my major and dropping the course.
Really cool, Walker, if somebody pays you to do what you do.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's what I'm trying to find in a master's right now.
Yeah.
A good thing about the German system is everything's baseline free, so at least I won't lose money outside of like living expenses, but I don't think I would do an unfunded master's program, or at least not, I want to have an opportunity to, not go negative again.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's a scary place to be in the negative, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I have some, not like interviews, I don't want to call them that, but like casual conversations with some people coming up pretty soon that we might be working out internship and like payment stuff. So if that goes through, then that'd be pretty cool.
Is it Andrew's birthday? Happy birthday, Andrew.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Happy early birthday then.
Happy early birthday then, yeah. I don't see you again.
We have. Oh,
Looks like
look
Super
at that.
Core Energy left. Have a good night if you're still listening.
Look at
Is
my
that your new
kitty.
kitten?
And my niece is playing with him. She sent me a bunch of movies. She wants to know what name I'm committing to so that they can start calling him by his name. But I don't know. I think Snack. I don't know.
Is it male or female?
Male.
Why don't you name it Odin? Go with the Norse god theme.
Yeah, Loki, Thor, and Odin.
Mm-hmm. You gotta poke one of its eyes out though, so that it fits the character.
Yeah. Oh, how many movies do I have here? Oh my God. Oh, what did she do to him? Look at that. What the hell?
No.
I'm tempted to run up there and get him, but then I'm going up there next month, and I can't leave him alone for the first 3-4 months. So,
Yeah.
because then Loki and Thor will eat him. They will kill him. Yeah, awesome. Pretty cool.
Super cute.
Yep. Okay, my Chrome is about to die, and if it does, I'm going to be out anyway. So we should probably end it here. So
shoot it in the head speed quick before it gets back out. Double tap.
Tucker's laptop is dying too, so we're both dying.
Oh yeah,
together.
sorry.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Forster says Balder if you're going to go with Norse god. I like that. Balder. Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Balder.
Balder? With a V?
No, with a B. Baldur.
Balder.
Baldur. Okay, yeah. You're talking about a Norseman, a god, a Norse god.
My son wanted to get a on the same theme, but get a younger god. So one of the younger ones or newer ones, I don't know. He's supposed to have suggestions, so we'll have to figure it out. I'm gonna have to figure it out today. Okay.
By the way, real quick before we go, Otangelo put out some reference to a book or an article by an R.L. Crowther. And he made it seem like the title was designed not by chance, and then he did a summary statement and said, therefore, it's not an argument from incredulity. So apparently, I got his goat a little bit yesterday in the side chat of Rebekah's channel. So I just put it out there that I can't find any reference to an article by that name or what have you. So Otangelo, if you want to put that link or whatever out there in the side chat, that would be great. That way I could read what you're referring to. However, this is very typical of Otangelo in that half the time he'll give a link to his website or his blog, and it's a mess. Please, if you're going to try to make an argument, provide links and papers that we can actually get to. Number two, your previous argument was suffering from the fallacy of argument from incredulity. If you change the premises, and the premises follow, the conclusion follows from that premise, then you're not committing a fallacy. It's how you do the argument. I mean, you can argue bad or you can argue good. Arguing bad means argument, a fallacy of, what did we say, incredulity or some other fallacy. So give us a good argument, and we'll be happy to look at it and happy to read a legitimate source.
Otangelo, I just gave you a wrench. So you do have a wrench now. You can put it there. Those have a Kodo kit. Does this tell us what we're looking for?
Yeah,
because I can't find it.
Put a link there. Come on.
Yeah,
link it to me, baby.
Okay, this is bad because I'm worried about Loki killing my new cat, and Baldur was the one killed by Loki's action.
Yeah. So that's probably not a good name to start with.
Probably not a good name. I don't want to encourage this.
Evolution News.
Yeah. Don't want to encourage this Norse theme. Anyway, he put it there. Evolution News. Oh my God.
Evolution News. That website sounds reputable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a creationist site.
Yeah, these kinds of sources are usually quite bollocks, but I'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
But first, I'm going to read the paper Dressel sent our way, because that'll be a better use of my time at first.
I cannot type right now into Chrome, and I can't update my description. Anyway, okay, we're going to shoot it ahead, guys. Shit's going wrong here.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hope to see you again.
Yes, except I got to figure out what I'm doing. What am I doing?
Yeah, you need to find the right button to push.
Yeah, okay. Goodbye, cruel world.